Kristi. Welcome to my channel. So I'm really excited because this is actually my first video. So I'm going to be doing lifestyle videos, a lot of organization and cleaning videos, as well as some DIYs on my channel. So if you're interested in those types of things, please subscribe to my channel and remember to comment as well, because I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you. Today we're going to be talking about junk drawer organization. So we just moved from Alaska to Houston, Texas a few months ago, and we've moved quite a bit over the years for my husband's job, and every single time we move I always say I'm gonna get organized. And so our stuff arrives in the new house, I put everything away just so that, you know, I don't have boxes everywhere. I like to get unpacked pretty quickly when we move in. So I just put everything away and I always say, okay, my next step is to get organized, and then it just never happens. So I decided when we moved into this house that I was going to make it my mission to get organized. So I'm trying to go through the house and put systems in place for us to stay organized. And the first place I decided to work on in this house was the junk drawers, because that's the place where we keep all the important things that we need and use on a regular basis, and we want to be able to get to them quickly. So I decided that that would be a great place for us to start. In the past, for example, in our last house in Alaska, we had a pretty big drawer in our kitchen that we used as our junk drawer, and it was a mess. I had no form of organization in there at all. We just threw everything in the drawer, and every single time we went to get something, it was just this horrible process of having to dig for whatever it was that we wanted. And sometimes we'd even have to empty out the whole drawer practically to find the one little item that we needed. So this time, since I've gotten us organized, our systems that we have in place right now are really working for us. So hopefully you'll be able to pick up some of the things that we've done and maybe make them work for you. So to get started, I'm going to just do a quick scan of our kitchen so that you can see how our kitchen is set up and where we have our junk drawers. And I actually have two this time because my drawers are not quite as big as the one that I had before in Alaska, and we had several things that we wanted to put in the drawer. So since I had the space to have two, that's what we ended up doing. So as you can see, we have a pretty open kitchen with our stove on one end, and then you kind of go around the kitchen, and when you get all the way to the other end of the kitchen, you see this area where our breakfast area is, and behind that we have what looks like the wine area. And when we bought the house, this was actually a desk. So the wine refrigerator wasn't here, that was all open, and we had it closed in and put the wine refrigerator there, and we had these cubby holes that I decided to put use as wine storage, because I didn't want them to look all junky if I use it as a desk area, but I still wanted the space to function sort of like a desk area, just not on the outside. So that's where I took the two drawers on the end, and those became my junk drawers. So this is our first junk drawer. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you what's in the junk drawer. This is our first one in a minute, but before I do that, I just want to talk to you about some of the things that I thought about as I was getting this organized. So when we first started, I actually was using the drawer on the other end to contain all the things that I have in this drawer, which is, I ended up moving everything over here. And the reason that I did that is because this is where we keep things like our keys. So we wanted a spot where when we came in the house, we could just dump things out of our purse or our pockets. My husband likes to dump everything out of his pockets into the junk drawer, and we always keep our keys in our junk drawer. That's one of the main things we keep in there, and we always want to be able to have easy access to that. Well, what we found was, I noticed that it was a pain, even though it's just a few feet over to the other end, it was actually we weren't as likely to go over there. We were more likely to come right here because it was really in the more kind of central location in our kitchen. It was just the easier to get to rather than taking those few other steps to the other end. And so just wanted to talk to you about that because it seems like something so simple, like, oh my gosh, it's just a few feet over there. But those few feet made a huge difference. What we ended up doing was I noticed that my husband was coming and he was just putting his things on top of the countertop. So instead of putting it in the drawer, the keys might go on top of the countertop. And I was doing the same thing, so I can't just put it on him. Because that was just our tendency. So one of the things that I've been contemplating a lot as I've been organizing is really thinking about where is the best place to put something. And ideally I might have liked it over there. It works and functions for us much better in this location. And so that's why I ended up moving all of these things over here. And the things, because these are the things we use more often. The things that we use a little bit less often, I don't need to get to quite all the time, I ended up putting in the other drawer on the other end. So let's take a look at what I have in here. So I have these organizers that I got from the dollar store, and everything you see in this drawer came from the dollar store. I really like these. These are the little plastic bins. First of all, I like the color of them. I think they actually look somewhat pretty in the drawer. I got the coordinating little bucket here, also in the blue color, which I really, really like. And so I'll go through the drawer and kind of tell you what we have in here and how everything functions for us. So we always need pens and markers and everything. So this is where we keep that in the very first space. And then we keep our little, all the little wipes for our glasses so we can clean our glasses. And then in the next basket in the back, we have our keys. So we both jump our keys right here. As you can see, we have extra keys for different things. And then I also keep my sunglasses in there when I'm not using them or they're not in my purse. I take my dog for a walk every day, so a lot of times I'll just put them back in here when I'm done. In the back, these are some things that we want to use all the time. So we're always needing a flashlight, a stapler, some tape. I have whiteout, and then stamps, because I do sort of use this as a mailing station as well. And then I have an assortment of different types of note cards here, because a lot of times I need to write somebody a note. I'm usually in the kitchen when that needs to happen, so I have them all right here. I can just grab them. Then, you know, you're always having to write things down, so you have post-it notes right there. And then also in the back here, in this last drawer on this side, I keep a little sewing kit, and then we have some pencils, and then this is our stamp that has our address on it. So I really could probably put it in this other side over here, but it fits right here, so I like it there. And then if you look in this drawer, or this compartment, we have our headphones. We have 2 sets of headphones, and then everything that goes with our electronics. So all our little extra chargers. This is my battery pack for our cell phones and iPad that I use when I travel. And then I also keep in here business cards that I need to access frequently. So a lot of times these are people that, you know, I know that I'm gonna need to contact them soon, so I'll keep it right there. And then I have a Target card, and I just keep keeping it right there so I can remember that I need to use it. This compartment is for my husband. So my husband always likes to empty out his pockets at the end of the day, and he just likes to dump things. So I thought a lot about that as I was organizing this. Like, I just needed a slot where he could just dump everything, and then we could worry about it later. So as you can see, it looks pretty junky right now, but I will be going through this pretty soon. So he's got his receipts in here. He's got his badge for work. He's got, he just dumps his change in there. And as you'll see in a minute, I have another place where I keep receipts and where I keep the change. But this just allows him, when he gets home, to be able to dump out everything that he needs. And that's brings me to kind of another thing about this is whenever you're organizing something, it doesn't really matter what you're organizing. Think about what your tendencies are and make sure that whatever you're using for your organizational system matches your tendencies. So, for example, I really needed a place just for him, just for his stuff, so that he could dump those things. And then if you notice, everything else that we have is also compartmentalized. So I have like items with like items. So all of our electronic stuff is in this drawer. Now I do have a couple of odds and ends in here that don't really belong with that, but it just works for where it is. Then I have all my stationery together. And then all of the tape and things that I need for mailing stuff, my stapler, then a flashlight that's easy to get to. So you notice that it's, even though it's in compartments and I might have multiple things in there, they're all somewhat related. So try to keep like items with like items. So now let's go ahead over here and look at our other drawer. So in this drawer, these are things that we don't use quite as often, but we still need on a regular basis. And some of it I actually use every day. I just don't need to access it as much as I access the other drawer. So we start off, I have poop bags for our dog, AC. When I take him for walks, I use his poop bags, so I have those ready to go right here. These are furniture movers, so especially when we use them all the time, especially when we're moving in the house, and I always want to have them accessible pretty easily. So I keep these right here. And then in the drawer in the back, I have 3 of these long compartments. Actually, I have 4. And so in the third one, I keep museum putty. So these are what I use. These actually, because I have 4, they fit the drawer perfectly. But if they didn't, I would use this museum putty to tack them down so that they wouldn't move. So I have that in here. I have this little massager that I actually do use sometimes on my legs. They get sore, so I'll use that on it. So I keep that in there. And then here I have just some gift cards from Alaska that when we go back to visit, I will use, so I kept those instead of giving them away. And then in the back here, I just have some random kind of miscellaneous items back there. You see some batteries, some remotes for different items that we don't use very often and things like that. On the other side, I have this envelope which has some receipts from, actually it's from Hurricane Harvey, where we had to buy some different things, and I've kept all the receipts from that. I need to put those away with the rest of my receipts, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. And then in this container right here, I have receipts. So these are just in general where I keep receipts as they come in. So the ones that you just saw from the other bin where my husband puts all his receipts, those will go in here. And then once this gets filled up, then I have another spot where I keep all my receipts, and I will go ahead and file them in that filing system. And then when in this container, this is where I keep all the change, and I actually save change, and I actually can rack up quite a bit. So I keep it, and then when this gets full, I'll wrap all of my coins. And so also the bin where my husband dumps all of his stuff out of his pockets, I will empty that bin and the change will go in here. The receipts will go in this bin, and then his change will end up in here. And then I have an Apple Pencil that I use with my iPad, so I just keep the box and kind of the instructions, everything in there. And then we have painter's tape and measuring tapes, because we're using measuring tapes all the time. So those are our 2 junk drawers. I hope these will help give you a little inspiration if you're looking to get organized for your junk drawers. So please leave a comment letting me know, what do you keep in your junk drawer? Let us know. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.